Oh, now I can't hear you.
You're listening to the PT Pintcast, where smart people in healthcare come to make noise. Here's your host, Jimmy McKay.
I think we might need a better name than books and stuff, because I feel like we used to talk about books, Rebekah Griffith on the show, and now we talk about like lots of things. Is your microphone working? Are we testing that now? No, I see your lips moving, but yeah, it's because you touched it. I would try to reattach the microphone, like unplug it, plug it back in, maybe refresh the screen. I'll jibber jabber until you do that, because right now I got nothing, no noise, no sounds. People just think I'm talking to myself. Rebekah Griffith, the ED-DPT, before we hit live stream, you said we wanted to talk about the vibe, the trend, which we could make fun of trends. There you go. You're good. We can make fun of trends as like the it thing, but I feel like taking a look at what the trends are, and you said the trend recently in the last couple of days, because this is like the first week back after that sort of dark Christmas to New Year's. What is the trend that you were noticing in terms of videos and reels and what the zeitgeist was talking about?
I've been seeing a lot of like reels that are like, everybody based, but PT based, that say things I'm leaving behind in 2025 as a DPT. And so I want to know what you think about that and what yours would be.
So the mic I'm hearing right now, just FYI, is your computer, not your actually big fancy mic. But okay, I don't know. That microphone I love. It's the Yeti Blue, but that attachment where the wire plugs into the top of it is very finicky. If you move it a little bit, it loses connection, and once you do, you have to reconnect it. You could plan this trend 11 and a half months in advance. You know it's going to happen. The last company I thought taking advantage of it and doing it well was Spotify. Spotify, of course, now has their Spotify Wrapped for a few years. Now they've gotten to the point where everybody just copies them. But this is essentially like you're Wrapped, or what are you leaving behind? I don't know that I've seen a lot of these things. So what you think is being seen by a lot of people, I'm not saying I haven't seen any, but I haven't seen a lot of it. So what are the things that PTs have been saying they're leaving behind in 2025?
Well, some of it's like not getting my documentation done on time. Some of it's like not speaking up when I think something's wrong, stuff like that.
What
some
should they be?
Are like, I'm not taking insurance anymore. Like I'm leaving behind the insurance model, that kind of thing. Or I'm leaving behind working for other people. So I think some of it's really predictable. But like one that I liked the other day was truly like not changing my recommendations to make other people happy.
Meaning what? What are recommendations?
This is an acute care therapist. So it was like truly like not changing my discharge plan and my discharge recommendation because case management doesn't like it, because the admin doesn't like it, because the patient doesn't like it, but like staying true to like their clinical judgment, which I can appreciate that. But at the same time, is it patient-centered if there are reasons why that discharge plan doesn't work? So I don't know. I think there's some nuance missing there, but I also think we've got to like lean into being doctors a little bit more.
I've said to people, I mean, people have come to me for marketing. People have come to me for content how do I essentially attention. How do I get the best attention from the people I'm looking to get attention from? And I've given a plan. And then they've said, we don't think that plan is what we need to do. We need to do this. And I'm like, my answer isn't changing just because you don't like it. And I'm sure there's a nicer way I can say it. Jamie Brindle is sort of a coach of freelancers. Doesn't really matter what you're a freelancer in. Because the same conversation happens whether you're doing graphic design or discharge planning, which is you asked me a question based on a set of criteria for success. I analyzed that and gave you an answer, and you said I didn't like that. And I'd say, I need to understand, we can change the scope, but if you want to optimize for success, what you defined as success before we started, we will, in my assessment, we will not reach success if we don't do all of these things. Yes. Now we can stretch them out over time.
But I also think there is this like concept with acute care therapists and ED therapists for sure, where it's like, we want the discharge plan to be perfect. And based on that set of criteria, our best clinical judgment in an ideal world, this is what that would be.
Right.
But I think a lot of times we fail to take into account what reality is. Reality is this patient won't have 24-hour supervision. This patient doesn't have health insurance. This patient can't get a custom wheelchair. So we can make this Santa Claus recommendation, but at the same time, an unrealistic discharge plan is a useless discharge plan. And so I think to a certain extent, we're not taking the full criteria into consideration.
So are you saying, this is how I felt, I'm not gonna put words in your mouth. It sort of felt like this fake little dance. Like, you need me to say this because insurance this, so therefore I'm going to change my answer based on, so it's like, who am I answering for and to, right?
Yeah, and that's payer-centered healthcare for sure.
Right.
But we also have to keep the patient at the center of what we're doing. So sometimes the patient disagrees with the discharge plan, and that's fine. So I'm not saying change your discharge plan. I'm saying you can advocate for your discharge plan. But if it's unrealistic, then you do have to make some adaptations. And if it's not the discharge plan the patient wants, sometimes that doesn't matter, right? Like sometimes patients just don't want to leave the hospital, even though they're medically ready, they have everything in place, they just don't want to go. And that may be a confidence issue. You've got to look at what that resistance is. But, realistically, if the patient, for example, doesn't want to go to rehab, you can't force them to do that. You can't force your plan on other people. So I think just taking all of those components and then getting on the hill to die, but making sure you're being realistic and considering all the factors.
Is this where motivational interviewing comes in? Like if you say what does success look like to a patient, and they say it looks like X, and you say based on what I see now and where you want to go, the answer is A and B and C, and they say I'm not going to do any of those, I'm not going to do most of those. Is now the next step motivational? Okay, I understand that. And thank you for being honest and realistic. Based on what you just told me, then we will not, I don't believe that we will achieve X. Is that okay with you?
Right.
Because I thought a second ago, that's what we were solving for.
Right. And also this is why I think you need to do these things, like making sure patients understand that. But hearing what they're saying, no, that's not my goal. And I also ask people, why don't you want to go to rehab? And sometimes they have a really good reason for that. I have patients where I have to discharge them to a homeless shelter, and I'll go through a lot of work to set that up. And then they'll be like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, well, why don't you want to do that? Well, because the last time I was there, I was assaulted and I was robbed. Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Good reason.
What other options are there? So I think assuming that we know best is something maybe I need to leave behind in 2025. And looking at all the factors, we also can't make things happen just because we want to. And I think that's a really frustrating thing that's leading to a lot of burnout and moral injury in therapists is we know exactly what patients need, but we can't get it for them for a variety of reasons, whether it's insurance, whether it's the health system that you work in, whether it's accessibility, whether it's the patient just doesn't want that. I think that can be really frustrating for people. For me specifically, when I'm working in the emergency department, I'm like, I know if you had all of these things, you could be successful. And I know you can get none of them. So here are the other things that I can offer you. And it's hard.
It could be exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's got to be a better way though. And I don't know, maybe that's what we need to find in 2026. Is a better way to help people in the system that we're in, or we just need to blow the system up. And I'm obviously a huge advocate for that. And that's why I do the advocacy work that I do. But
let me ask you this, since you're obviously seeing a lot of these, you mentioned a few of the things I'm leaving behind in 2025, taking documentation home. These are all pains, right? These are all things we didn't like that we don't want to, copy forward. What else was there that you remember? I like the fact that you didn't necessarily make a list, and you'll have to just remember on emotion and memory.
Letting other professionals define our scope, which I love that one. We obviously don't need to do that. I always tell people the person who knows if a patient needs physical therapy is the physical therapist. So I think also when people are like, hey, you can't do that, that's not in your scope. So for example, in Colorado, we're fighting to be able to do sports physicals, high school sports physicals this year.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Legislators season. Yeah. And other professionals are like, that's not in your scope. And I'm like, let me show you what our scope is legally and training wise and show you exactly how that's in our scope. So I think there is this pressure on that. But when we do talk about not letting other people define our scope, the legislature defines our scope. So having legislative meetings, I mean, and maybe that's the thing that bothers me about this trend is that this is stuff I'm leaving behind in 2025. But how are you going to leave it behind? Because letting other people define our scope, I get that. You've got top of facility, you've got top of license because you want to be at the top of your scope. But how are you going to do that? You know, Thursday I have multiple meetings with multiple legislators to talk to them about not cutting Medicaid in the state of Colorado. Because I don't want to limit accessibility for our patients. I don't want to limit payment for our therapists. I don't want to limit our scope. All of those things.
Why? What would happen if those things are limited?
So with this Medicaid cut specifically,
yeah,
clinics are going to close.
Why does that matter? Why is that a bad thing?
Because patients won't have access to therapy.
Why is that a bad thing?
They'll decrease function and overall health.
Why is that a bad thing?
They won't be able to contribute to society. They won't be able to live a meaningful life.
I would lead with that.
Right. So what I usually tell legislators when I meet them and talk to them is that physical therapists help keep Coloradans at work, at play, and at leisure.
I was doing the exercise we just did with Emily. She's the APTA Montana Emily.
Yeah. Herndon.
What's her last name?
Herndon.
I thought it was Herndon. I don't want to guess. And and hopefully at the end of the little, because I was in her comments section, she was doing something similar. I can't remember what the issue was in Montana. Mm-hmm. And she wrote a very well-written press release on LinkedIn. And I came in I always say, I act like a petulant 6-year-old. What's that?
Like a wrecking ball, you and Miley Cyrus.
Yeah. But I'm like, well, why does that matter? Well, because of this. And I'm like, why? Until you get to the core emotional root. And then it's like Coloradans won't be able to work or play or contribute to Colorado. Legislators care about that.
They do.
But when we go to Albany, New York, and we're like, PTs need to get paid more. I'm like, that's not going to move the needle. Well, we do need to get paid more. What happens if we don't? Right. This. What happens if that? What happens if this? And when you can't ask what happens or why that matters anymore, you've gotten to the thing that actually should be your headline.
Well, and the thing that the legislator asked me last time was, why do you think that you should not be cut when every other healthcare provider is in the same position that you are?
How'd you answer that? That's a good question. That's a tough one. That's a fair one.
I said, that's a great question. And I understand that you have really difficult decisions to make. And I don't envy this position at all. But we will help you save money. And here's how. So when your problem is balancing the budget and looking for ways to cut costs by supporting physical therapists and increasing access to physical therapy, we can help cut healthcare costs.
We can actually help you achieve that goal in a better ROI.
Yep. And
but if you let in with like PTs are better, we have doctoral degrees, like does not move the needle.
It doesn't, because all these other people do too, right? And so it's like, how can I help you with your problem? It's the same thing when I go into health systems to talk about why you should have PT in the emergency department. What matters to your hospital?
What problem are we trying to solve here?
Correct. And it's just like doing a PT evaluation. What are your impairments? What are your functional limitations? What are your participation restrictions? Here's my plan of care.
Let me ask you this, because I was in a similar situation. I won't say with who. I'll try to keep this as generic as possible, because some of the people in this meeting would probably listen to this podcast. And it wasn't a bad thing. I think this is how does Jimmy improve thing. So I got brought in to do a project, but I was not clear on what good looked like, because I was asked, hey, do you want to do this thing? And I was like, that sounds interesting. Can I learn more? And they explained, essentially it's a Jimmy thing. It's like, come and make an in-person event good. And I'm using air quotes. Yeah. And then I went to the meeting and I was like, what does good look like? And they're like, good. And I'm like, you can't use the word in the definition.
No.
And I run into this problem often with the type of work that I do. And I would like to get better, because I feel like I just annoy people, because what they just want me to know, but I can't, because they don't know. And I'm like, do you understand all the annoying questions that I'm asking are trying to bring us, me and us, closer to understanding the same thing?
Well, it's just like if you documented after a total knee replacement that the patient will have good range of motion.
Good according to who?
According to who? And if the patient's like, I want my knee to be good, you're like, well, what does good mean to you? Is that 2 out of 10 pain? Is that 0 pain? Is that full range of motion? But so I think we just forget how we operate needs to be a little more comprehensive with the other things that we do also.
Yeah. Dan dropping this, speaking specifically about PTs in the ED. He said he spoke to a chief medical officer. That CMO did not want PTs in the ED because he doesn't want to admit patients. Although I bet you Rebekah Griffith might say having a PT in the ED would help them
100%
prevent that.
Unnecessary hospital admissions, right? Especially when those patients are in purgatory.
He was saying he would need to discharge them somewhere, and that is a problem he didn't want to have. This guy's pulling an ostrich move. I feel like not Dan, the other guy or the other woman, whoever that was. They're pulling an ostrich. I don't want to touch the turd. Therefore, I'm just going to never let a turd walk in, and that's not good.
And PTs are low-key bouncers in the ED, right? Like and my friend Sarah always says, like, you don't invite everybody in off your front porch. It's the same thing in the hospital, right? We don't want to invite everybody in off the front porch. So if we can give them the care they need on the front porch and get them going on their way, and then we can like save the resources at the house. So putting those resources up front decreases hospital admissions, increases throughput, decreases unnecessary imaging. So that's why I say you can't just say PTs in the ED are great because PTs are great and patients like us. You have to show the hospital how it fixes the problem that the hospital has.
That's why
they have hospital admissions they don't want to have. They probably have bed lock in their ED too that could be fixed. So they're not seeing the solution because nobody's showing it to them.
Yeah. That's where like an initial evaluation in a situation that Dan's talking about, or in a situation that I run into in marketing communications, whatever that might be, the first thing I ask is like, what are we solving for here?
Yep.
People will ask me like, what does it cost to hire you? And I'm like, I don't know what we're solving for. Is this a 5-minute solution? I'll do it for free. Right? Or is it a 55-minute solution or a 55-week solution? I don't know what we're solving for here. Do you know what we're solving for here?
Well, and that's, I would say, a frustrating thing that I have when people want a consulting proposal from me is they're like, we just want a proposal. Great. A proposal about what? Like, I don't know you. I don't know what your problems are. I can look on your website and see what you're putting out to the public, but I actually need to know what is it like consulting on? What problems are you looking for? Because also maybe I'm not the right person.
Correct. Oh yeah. I wind up trying to talk people out of hiring me. I play that. It's not a game, but like I play that game where I approach it. And I just go, I don't know if I'm the right guy. That actually winds up closing more deals, but it closes more right deals.
Yes. But I also feel like there's this people pleaser mentality where I'm like, okay, I'll give you a proposal.
I know. But that's why I listen to a guy named Jamie Brindle, who's like a coach for freelancers.
Yeah. And
his whole mentality is like, understand what you're solving for first. Because you might, it's like, well, they're going to pay me, 5 figures to do this. It's like, I'm going to hate all of it. I don't want to overhaul your website. I'm not your email drip campaign guy. I will, if you want me to be the general contractor for your problems, you have to understand that I'm going to do the general I'm the orchestra. What's the guy in the front with the wand? I'm the conductor, which is why I'm not in an orchestra. But I'm not doing that. This is a large problem.
Well, and I think sometimes when I'm going to say this a lot, the right provider at the right time, whether that's the consultant, whether that's marketing, whether that's the physical therapist, then everything's going to align, right? Like I had one hospital where I did a course for them, and I ended up being their caregiver of the week. I don't even work there because it was
you kidding me?
And like their nursing manager like texted me because she was somebody I worked with at a different hospital, and she was like, "You're our caregiver of the week." I was like, "That's very cool. I don't work there." And she's like, "I know, but like the work that you did mattered." And so I think when you have that right match, that's exactly where you need to be. And we need to stop trying to push ourselves where we shouldn't be and start pushing ourselves where we really ought to be. but we also can't keep waiting for people to find us. It's like dating, right? Like nobody knows they want to date you if you don't ever go anywhere or talk to anybody or show up, right? And sometimes you in that dating process, you're like, mismatch.
But also, if you walk into a dating situation, and I've told this story before, freshman and sophomore year of college, Jimmy got a lot of first dates because I had no problem failing. I had no problem asking, but not a lot of second dates. And I couldn't figure out why. Because on the first date, I talked about how I was the class treasurer, and I was playing on the hockey team, and I was so funny, and how many friends I had. I talked about me the whole damn time. No second dates. And everybody laughs at that. And they go, of course you're not going to get a second date. And then I go, I just looked at your marketing. All your stuff that you do externally, it's all about you. And you wonder why no one wants to step closer. Junior and senior year, I started asking about them. You can ask questions in content where the other person isn't there.
Yes.
You can show them. I ask one of the greatest questions I ask. I've got an event on Saturday at APTA New Jersey. It's like a student conclave. And my first question is here, because it's all students. I know who they are generally. They're like stem cells, right? My first question on Saturday is, how many of you here are training to be in show business? Show of hands. Nobody raises their hand. And I go, so you're just going to tell people how to do exercises? You're never going to show them? Well, that's not fair. So you're just going to tell them. You're just going to sit still and tell them. You're never going to show them what a future looks like if they do the things that you say. That seems lazy. Yeah. Me saying these things was ridiculous 3 to 5 years ago, and now it's not. I used to have to really convince people that, I'm using air quotes, creating a content or storytelling was important. Now I'm sure if you pulled the statistics on LinkedIn, how many people have the words storyteller in their bios is up 4 billion%. And it's like the thing of, it's the cliche, it's the thing of the week right now, right? In the future, when you can generate infinite amount of ideas and have access to infinite information, the superpower is the ability to transfer that from human to human. Sorry, it is. Now the comms majors are laughing at everybody else. Ha!
Right.
If you're good at it and you can convince people to hire you to let you do it how you see fit. Now we're full circle back to, you said the problem is X. I say the answer is ABC. You say, I don't want to do that. I say, well, then we're not going to get X.
Well, and we are so awful to patients when they don't do what we tell them to do. I see so many, that's another real trend that I really wish would go away, is PTs punching down on their patients and making reels, making fun of their patients. That makes me insane. So if we could leave that in 2025, that would be great. But I'll see these reels that'll be the PT says, you should do these things. And then, did you do your things? And the patient's like, no. And ha, ha, ha. But we're the same way. Just what you're talking about now. You're here's your home exercise program. And the place is like, no, I don't think that works. Then why did you come to see me? And we're so judgy about that with our patients. So I think we need to be more open about all of those things. It's just like when you hire a consultant and they give you their expertise and you're like, nah, bro. And I'm like, okay, well, keep doing it the way you're doing it.
Here's my experience of being a consultant, my limited experience of being a consultant. I was so excited. I'm going to come here. I'm going to dive into all these things, all these problems, and I'm going to give you a plan, and then we're going to walk through the plan together and solve it. And then I realized it's the same damn thing. What you wanted to hear was, a lot of times, whatever you're doing you should keep doing it.
Right.
Which is little to nothing. But I'm going to show you how to paint the logo blue instead of red, and that's going to change everything. And I'm like, it's not. Well, this is going to require push-ups.
One of the other things on one of these reels was that we needed to stop gatekeeping knowledge and mentor more. And I love that in theory, but at the same time, we have people giving content away all the time. You give content away every day, and people aren't using it either. And I also think mentoring is a two-way relationship, and it should have goals identified and all of those things too. And then there's this concept of that you should give your content away for free, but you shouldn't treat patients for free. So are we compensating physical therapists for their time and expertise, or are we not?
Well, I mean, you can give something away for free and other things not. Like, so
Right.
it doesn't have to be, when is the answer always or never?
Right.
The answer is rarely, right? The answer is rarely, always, or never.
And I don't think you're gatekeeping if you're charging money for your expertise.
Most of the time, successful consulting relationships I've had is they sort of already understand. Like I tell people in the room in the beginning, like if Dan, if he's still watching, if we come into the C-suite, most of the people know what the problem is.
Right.
Very rarely does a contractor walk in and you're like, I got water leaking. And you're like, all right, well, we kind of know it's a pipe burst, right? What are we going to do about that? They just don't want to do it. So you're like, you're not paying me to do it. You're paying me so you don't have to do it.
Right.
Like it was very simple for me to see when my neighbor started hiring a lawn company. I've lived in this house for 3 years. This guy has a 0-turn lawnmower and he whips around his yard. Now, I'm not close to my neighbor. I wish I was. He's not a talker. I've tried to talk to him several times, but that's okay.
He probably closes his garage when he sees you coming.
He probably does. Dan's still there. So Dan, I'm going to tell a parallel story about my neighbor, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong, because he works with he's growing a large organization in the Northeast. My neighbor has a 0-turn, and then all of a sudden I'm sitting here, and I can look right at that window, and I see this whole squad of lawn care people, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know what happened. Maybe he's just at that age. Maybe he's just like at that financial level where he's like, screw that. I want to be doing whatever. Here was the eye-opening epiphany for me. He didn't pay someone to mow his lawn. He paid someone so he didn't have to have his lawn mowed. Now, here's the advantage and the problem in patient care. I can't pay Rebekah to do push-ups for me if I want bigger triceps.
Right.
I can't do it. That's what bothered me is I kept in a clinic. I was like, I see the problem and the path to a solution very clearly. And it killed me personally with my personality when people would come back week over week and be like, I didn't do it. And I'm like, and my personality is like, I would just close the laptop and be like, then what are we doing here? Like that was my personality. Now I went to peds and everything changed because they were just like, is it fun? No, then that's a failure on me as the provider. Is it fun? Yes, they'll do it.
Well, and I think too, when you're working with patients at that stage, you're like, this is what I can offer you. This is what you have to bring to the table. Yeah. And if we can't do that, then this isn't the right spot.
You need to do, I think, myself as a second career PT, I was under the impression before PT school, it's going to make people's heads explode. I thought we got some sort of magic level hands. I did. I thought we'd learn some tricks. I was waiting to come to Thanksgiving with family and be like, watch this, blah, 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 blah. And then be like, bam, your back pain's gone. And then I'm sitting there in PT school going, oh crap, it never happened. But that's okay, because it's real, right? But the same, and this is where my question to Dan or whatever is, it's the same in a C-suite. So like, we need more. These are the two areas I operate in healthcare, right? We need more providers. Yeah. That's a communications problem. I know you're like, that's talent acquisition. No. What's below talent acquisition? People. You need people to understand. Do you know how many times I slide into people's comment sections on LinkedIn when it's a clear repost of a job post? Do you see me doing this?
Yes, and since you mentioned it last time, I've been watching these posts. And
it doesn't go well.
No.
I'm okay with it because the other people watch. So let's play this out. Rebekah, you're hiring at XYZ Physical Therapy in Colorado, and your job post is one sentence, and it says what?
Now hiring.
Know someone hiring? Yeah. And I just go, and I go into comments and I go, why is working there different than any other clinic in your town? And then the person is like offended. I can smell it through LinkedIn. I'm okay with it. They'll be like, why don't we set up a phone call and talk about it? And I'm like, why would I give you 48 seconds on the phone if you can't even get my attention? Now, keep in mind, I'm not applying for a clinical job. What I'm trying to do is show in public that you've given no people a reason to take 1/4 of a step forward.
Yeah.
So the two areas I work in are talent acquisition, but I don't call it talent acquisition. I call it, I'm in the attention department. I'm never applying for a job in the marketing department again. I don't want to come run your comms department either. I am in the attention department because that's actually what you need. Oh, what do we need over here? We need new patients for this zip code with these 3 clinics. What do we need? Marketing. No, you don't. What do you need? Attention. How do we get that? Don't know the area or what you're actually good at yet. It's not marketing. It's not talent acquisition. It's not communications. It's not paid or organic. It's not reels or TikToks. You need attention.
Did you just say TikToks?
Yes.
You were like 800 years old.
No, I say it like that because when TikTok first came out, everybody does this and they poo-poo. And all I look at with TikTok is a generation who's only grown up with understanding how to get, keep, earn, and attention and deliver information with brevity.
Yeah.
My generation included, and even younger than me, look at how these TikToks are stupid. Are they though? Are they though? Now, I look deeper. It's information at brevity. It's the group telling you, for better or for worse, what they value with their time. I'll give you an example. People love when I parallel this. Did I ever talk to you about Disney's low ride out theory?
No.
Disney was doing social media and vanity metrics long before the internet. So you've been to, I'm guessing, to a Disney park, either land or world. Which one did you go to?
I've been to both briefly.
Ooh, look at you.
I'm telling you.
I know, I'm just kidding.
My kids are not a big fan.
So you buy a ticket to a Disney park and you can go on whatever ride you want as long as you just pay, you wait in line, right? Or you pay for a fast pass because you value your time more, so you pay that, right?
It's TSA for Disney.
Either way, when you get to the front of the line that you just spent money and then time to, you know those turnstile-y things with the 3 prongs?
Yep.
Why do they have those?
Calculating.
What is it calculating?
Number of people.
Why is that valuable?
So that they know how many people are waiting in line and how many people they can get through in an hour.
No. They could tell you how many people they can get through in an hour down to the millisecond. What they're doing is how many people paid to come in. They can calculate that with a cash register. How many people paid, then spent their time. So Disney was smart. He was like, I only have 50,000 acres of swamp in Florida or whatever. If I have teacups and teacups gets the lowest amount of turnstile spins, it means people cared about it the least. You're going to get different information if they fill out a card because nostalgically, teacups and Magic Mountain are nostalgia. Yeah. But if they're not riding it, the only way for Disney to bring in a new ride, if he has limited real estate, is to remove a ride. How does he pick which one? He lets the audience decide. He lets them decide with their time. He does not ask them.
I think you're going to get an argument from physical therapists that say how I am in real is not going to be reflective of how I provide patient care. So how would you apply that?
Okay. Explain that again. Say that again.
Okay, so you're going to have somebody who's listening to you and be like, Jimmy, I don't care about any of that. I don't care about the social media stuff. I just want to provide good patient care.
So provide good patient care.
Right. So why do I need to do any of this?
You don't hire someone who can. Do you if your toilet is clogged up and you can't figure it out, do you hire someone else?
But again, that's your point, right? Like, what's the problem that we're solving? This person wants to provide exceptional patient care. They don't want to be on Instagram.
Then don't.
How do I get people to them so they can see them?
Then don't.
Yep.
But you will pay for it then. And that's okay, because if you're hiring someone to do that and you're paying them X but not getting back X plus Y, don't work with them anymore. But don't tell me it's broken. Don't try something once and then be like, it's broken. I'll go, okay, well, I went to PT once, doesn't work. Well, of course not. Of course. What kind of a provider? And then did you? Oh, we're so quick to defend that. You cannot speak out of both sides of your mouth. It doesn't work. Help me understand what it looked like the first time you did that. There was someone today who was like, and the numbers don't matter. There was someone today who said, and I may or may not agree with them, but of course I'm going to poke. If you're spending $3,000 a month on your clinic ads with a marketing company, essentially I pay Rebekah, here's $3,000, Rebekah, per month. You're going to run ads just on Facebook for me. But then I say, hey, Rebekah, how much of that money is Rebekah's money and how much of that money is actually going to the ads?
Right.
And this person was like, if you're spending $3,000 a month and $1,500 going to Rebekah and $1,500 is actually going to the ad spend, stop doing that. And I go, what if the outcome is so fucking good? What if you're making 10 grand off that? Well, so you didn't.
in. We need to compensate people for their time and expertise.
I said, listen, dude, I hired Rebekah to fix my toilet. The parts were $100 and she charged me $500. I go, can you take a dump? Yes. Then wasn't that the thing we were solving for? Now, you could have waited and you could have negotiated someone else to do it cheaper, but you couldn't poop until you did.
Which is why you're paying for expertise and not intervention.
So I went back to that person on LinkedIn and I was like, well, hang on a second. If you're paying $1,500 a month for Rebekah to spend $1,500, I would say not enough information to solve for X. Right. Sorry. How much did it bring? If it brought $1 million, suddenly $1,500 is a freaking steal. If it brought you $11, yes. Ask yourself, what are you doing? Or go do it yourself. But then you're like, well, I don't know. I could spend $1,500 and lose money. Yes, which is why you hire someone who knows how to do it. Like, this is so funny how people will talk out both sides of their mouth. It's really funny to me.
Not a lot of awareness about it.
No, it's very much like, no, but I'm the expert. I'm worth it. That other guy, not so much. That other profession. Oh, you went to a chiropractor? I've gone 180 degrees. Someone asks me in my personal life, are chiropractors good? Here's my stock answer. I got to be honest. I don't know a lot about what they learn in school. But have you gone to one? Yeah. How'd you feel when you left? I felt great. Feels good to me. Keep going. That's it. When you move the goalpost closer, suddenly kicking field goals is a lot easier. My goal is not to sell you on anything. In fact, I don't think I've ever sold anybody on anything. My job is to achieve understanding. What if I were to say, well, vertebral artery dissection and blah, 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 blah. It's not what they were asking. That's like on the first date being like, you have 3 choices if you meet a girl at a bar. I can stand there and talk about me. I can stand there and talk about the other guy who's been hitting on you all night. Or I could talk about you. Which one do you think is going to lead to a phone number? Best odds. I got to be honest, I'm going with option 3. We don't do that. We talk crap about the other guy. We inflate ourselves and we wonder why people don't move closer and they only move further away.
Right. And it goes back to motivational interviewing for your patients too.
Now, doing this in person, 1-to-1 would be exhausting. Is there a way, Rebekah, we could do this on the interwebs at scale? I would say yes. I would say that is the best way in 2026 to reach the most amount of people. Wait. In the best manner. Simple, not easy, which is in fact why you hire someone, not necessarily me. It's not a pitch. Get someone who's good at it, likes doing it, will show up with a good attitude to learn and do it better every day. And that is my friend who I would hire to work in the attention department right next to me. That's right.
So say you have somebody who's just like a clinician, they can't hire anybody, or they want to start their own social media, they want to start their own Instagram.
Hold on. No, not yet. Don't you dare tell me an intervention before I know what the problem is. So let's go back to you're starting with who? You start with who? Good. They're at me. Good.
It's my New Year's resolution. I want to start social media. I want to be a PT influencer.
Got it.
What would you tell that person? How would you help that person start?
Yeah. Why do you want to do that?
This fictitious person just thinks it looks fun. Make it real.
Looks fun? Well, yeah. So I don't know. Grab a phone. What have you seen online outside of your profession that you're like, I'd like to do something like that. I'd like to do one of those videos where I'm on camera and there's a thing behind me and I'm commenting on it. Okay, great. Do that. Have you done it yet? Cost you $0. You could probably Google how to do that in the next 4.5 seconds and do it. Have you done it? Do it. The barrier to entry is it's not low. It's below the floor. The barrier to entry is below the floor.
Well, and I don't even think it's that. I think for a lot of people, it's just like this fear of getting started.
And now we're talking about psychology. Okay. Why, Rebekah, why haven't you done that yet?
Well, so I will tell you, when I started, it was just like afraid of what other people would think.
Okay. I can't help you with that. I'm very sorry.
Totally.
That's in your brain.
Yep. And like,
wait, also Rebekah, hang on a second. So if you make a video and people don't like it, you know how the algorithms work. It's just not going to show it to more people. So you've failed in front of 11 strangers that you'll never have to look in the eye. Suddenly What are the stakes? What's at stake here?
I think it's just really like how you feel about it.
This idea is for one person like Rebekah, the fictitious person Rebekah, because Rebekah now does show up regularly with communications and it has led to success. I won't even talk about what your last screenshot to me via email. So great job there. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Yes. That means someone watched something somewhere that you did and then said, I love you. Come work, come teach me and do your thing. This psychology at play is for individuals and companies because companies are made of people.
Right.
They will fail because they refuse to act. Even harder, because now instead of me trying to move a speedboat, I've got to move an aircraft carrier. Companies hate this because of fear.
And to tell you the truth, like I feel like personally for me, it was like people that I knew well were less supportive than people I'd never met.
Do you want to know why?
Tell me.
People want you to do well. They just don't want you to do better than them.
Oh, that's not nice.
It isn't. It's not on purpose, because if we're equals, Rebekah, and next you do something tomorrow, I'm the communications guy. I'm the attention guy. If you do something on Instagram tomorrow and blow up and get 1 million followers, that didn't change me, but now I feel a distance between you and I. I want you to do well. I just don't want you to do better than me. I heard someone say that, and holy crap, are they right?
But we rise by lifting others. I'm like, why?
I know, but I want to lift you. I don't want you to have to lift. We could be next to each other. You just be half a step behind.
Well, and I mean, I don't know. Like, I just feel like show up for your people.
I agree. And the people that consistently do, who have that as part of their personality, are very happy. Sky Donovan is a perfect example of this. Sky, you remember the movie The Matrix? Mm-hmm. The bullet scene where Neo's...
Oh, yeah, I just watched it with my 16-year-old.
Sky Donovan is the person who will dodge praise like Neo dodges bullets. And while she's dodging praise, she's flinging other people into the line of fire. But here, bullets, in my analogy, bullets are a good thing. She's trying to get other people praise, and she's avoiding it like it's the plague. She is not the only person who does this. I'm just pointing it out because she's the person in my life who's constantly putting me in situations to win. Those people win big. It just takes longer. Yeah. And it's harder, but I hope the payoff is bigger. You can do that as a company.
I just feel too like it's the scarcity mindset. And I think as a profession, we have that too.
Yeah, it's not cake, but I get it. This is humans. The theory of loss aversion, where if you said you're going to run a mile, and if you get below this time, you're going to lose $100. Sorry, if you get above this time, you're going to lose $100. If you get below this time, you're going to make $100. According to psychology, and from my lame understanding of psychology, people will run faster to not lose the $100 they already have in their bank account versus win the $100 that they don't have yet. That is called loss aversion. People are more apt to be afraid and act. This is where people will be like, well, your marketing's fear mongering. I'm like, no, that ad is playing on loss aversion.
Oh gosh. Oh Lord.
It is very powerful, which is why you see a lot of like, you could write the same ad or message. This goes across anything. You write the same ad or message 2 different ways. One showing something how we can save legislators money. Well, I will bring you money or prevent loss. The prevent loss angle works better because we're big dumb animals, and loss aversion is a thing. A lot of the titles of my episodes are based on loss aversion. Subscribe and never miss an episode. You mean if I don't do it, I'm going to miss something? Yes. Click. We're big dumb animals.
Like, I don't want to lose this line of business, so I'm not going to try this new thing that might be that. Oh.
Loss aversion is terribly powerful. It's never taught to us. We just know. That's when you know it's part of the operating system. That's what you key in on.
Ew.
You don't have to fearmonger to use this for good. Look at all the clickbait. See which star had a wardrobe malfunction tomorrow. I have to know. Well, if you scroll past, you're going to lose the opportunity to know. It's baked into the cake. But we as providers, we as healthcare people, we are good. And I'm going to tell you all about the things that you'll get. Tell me about the things that I will lose. Well, you can still lift your grandkids. What if you don't do this, you'll never lift your grandchild above your out of their high chair again. Same idea, different messaging, different emotions, different results.
Well, it does work, because I tell you what, I did hear that quote that they say that you'll pick up your child for the last time and you won't.
And you've been lifting your damn kids every damn day.
Oh, I still like pick up my 16-year-old and like my 14-year-old, and I carry them as far as I can, just to make sure that I can still do it. I even pick up my husband just to make sure that I can do it. So it works. Like I don't want to lose that.
I saw two kids that I grew up on the same street with. And now that I live back in my hometown as of the last 2-3 years, I ran into these two brothers. They're the same age as me and my brother. So like mirrors. So I played baseball with the older brother and my younger brother, and I ran into these two brothers. And I remember that line that was similar, because I don't have kids, but that line is like, you and your friends from your neighborhood all went home after playing together at the last time. You just never knew it. Because we do street hockey, kickball, wiffle ball, whatever. Like it wasn't even a question. It was every day in the summer, right? Till one day it wasn't ever again. That is two things. That's loss and nostalgia. Woo! Now, what could you sell for loss and nostalgia? I bought an app over the Christmas break called PhotoMine. It takes all those photos, and I barely snap a picture, and it crops it and zhuzhes it, digitizes it, and puts it in a lockbox that I'll never lose. Yeah, that was worth $60.
Yeah, it is.
But they didn't sell me photos. They sold me loss.
Yes.
If you wait on that photo, it's going to get moldy and you'll never have that memory again. So it's loss and nostalgia, two very powerful emotions.
Well, the nostalgia thing is so real, because like all the 90s fashion and things that are out again right now, and except I have adult money. Do you know how much adult money I'd be spending on 90s nostalgia?
Which is why my business idea over Christmas, might have had half a bottle of Chardonnay, was I want to do an ice cream. I want a fleet of ice cream trucks. You hire me when you have a moment, your kid's birthday party, your birthday, a graduation, a confirmation, or a communion. Okay, ice cream truck, but what are we doing for? Am I solving an ice cream problem? Solving a fun problem. I roll up and I make the math simple. One price, 3 hours, all the ice cream your guests can eat. Up to and including this amount. Like there's got to be a cap, right? But also for the adults, we're going to do some like frosés, right? I'll have a couple blenders in there with some rosés and whatever. I'll have the cornhole boards that I kick out. I might roll around. We've got some places around here that have llamas. I'm going to roll up with a petting zoo. All these are upsells. But you don't sell ice cream out of a truck. That's a transaction. I want to sell a transformation. I'm going to turn your backyard into a party. Take your 90s nostalgia. Dude, call yourself the Max. We bring the Max from Saved by the Bell to your house. We come in and we throw up 90s kitsch all over your house. Blah, there it is. We've got the Friends frame around your door, around the little thing you look through in your front door. We've got everything. The music we're playing, 90s music. You're not solving for that, because you could do that yourself, but I'm gonna be able to do it at scale for less than you, and you're not gonna have to do anything except swipe your card right here.
Well, and I love doing things by credit card.
If in 2026 we started this episode off by saying what people are leaving behind, I gotta be honest, and I'm not in the day-to-day operations of things. I'm not. But if I can't schedule an appointment with you on my phone in 3 clicks or less,
yes,
you are bleeding money. I don't get paid by an EHR or any of those tech companies. If you can't do it in 3 steps or less, bleeding money, and one of the steps can't be go into your pocket and give me a number that you don't have memorized. Why do I find things on Amazon from a video? Sorry. I find things on Instagram in a video and then it says shop here. If it takes me to your website and you don't have my information saved, what I'm going to do next is remember the name of your company, go to Amazon and search to see if I can buy. Why? I'll even pay a little more because I don't want to take the card out of my pocket. I don't trust you with my information. Even more basic than trust you, I don't want to have to walk across the room to get it. Yep. And if you think I'm being ridiculous and that and that people wouldn't lose sales over this, I'm right, you're wrong, fight me. I'm right.
Oh, I get those emails that are like, are you still shopping? You abandoned your cart. And I'm like,
So I don't know. So understand emotional, psychological drivers. And so back to you, Rebekah, who wants to be an influencer tomorrow, I would say if in 90 days, if we were to work together, you would be known for one thing on the interwebs, what would it be? And I don't care what your answer is. Whatever the answer is, we work backwards from that because that's the goal.
Ooh.
Because you can't be known for 50 things. Not at first.
Well, I think that's the problem. A lot of people don't know what that thing is.
No one can help you.
This nebulous goal, not a specific goal.
Then you need to be a very good dancer or be very pretty. Because you could be known for being a very good dancer or being very pretty. Shoot. I can't be known for either.
Yeah. I'm going to need to level up. I have good hair, but I can't dance.
So we started this episode off by saying, here are the things I'm leaving behind in 2025. We got 9 minutes left. What are the things you want to bring into your life in 2026? What are the ad parts?
Well, gosh, I think I need to be the person that runs for the $100.
Run for the $100 instead of running to not lose 100.
Yes.
At the end of the run, you still have this. Well, no, you would have more. You would have $100 more. That's where my math goes wrong. But how much of your life is spent just trying to not lose stuff versus going for the level up thing?
Yeah, I think I need to do that. And then the other thing, my business coach, she sent me a voice memo and she's like, you have this really good skill of like doing all these really great things and then making it not that.
What does that mean? Making it not that?
She's like, you do these really great things and then you're like, oh, that was nothing. Like, so minimizing what I've done.
Don't minimize. Yeah.
Yep. And she's like, you make it into nothing.
Don't do that. A wizard. You don't have to maximize. You don't have to make it look like it's something it's not. But yeah, I had someone Sky Donovan pulled me aside and it's like, you tell people that what you're doing is super easy a lot. And I was like, it is. And she goes, yeah, to you. Right. I've got a buddy who's an auto mechanic and him doing something under a hood is very easy to him. To me, it's magic. I'm like, I don't know what you did. You opened a thing. You looked at a bunch of things that look like spaghetti to me. And you were like, blah, blah, blah. Vroom. And I'm like, what did you do? And he's like, no, it's super easy. Yes. Because you spent 17 years under hoods.
Yes. So I also think I just have this like long-standing habit of minimizing anything that I've done. If I fail at it, I'll make a big deal out of it. But otherwise, so I need to leave that behind. I'm bringing that energy into like celebration energy and like, I don't know, being present.
Being present is good.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
I'm going to ask more.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Which is, I talk on this podcast or live stream, whatever it might be. I'm going to be more obvious and more direct. Hey, I see what you're doing. I think if we worked together, I could actually cause you to go from here to here. Do you want to find out? Let's talk. Would that be where would that conversation potentially cause you from losing something you've already gotten? Why lose momentum? 30 minutes? I might be completely wrong for this. I might be wrong. But what if I'm not? And you didn't, would that be worth 30 minutes to potentially not lose a successful idea? And I've got a lot of conversations. I've been doing that for the last few weeks. I've just decided to go on offense and not defense. There it is. That's the answer. I said this 2 years ago. And I'm pretty sure I said it because I heard someone else say a better version of it, which is innovators play offense, not defense.
Yes.
You cannot innovate. You cannot defend your way to innovation. That's like shoveling. It's like trying to save your beach house by just going into the ocean and taking the sand and bringing it back up the hill. I'm like, you got to go way out into the ocean. You got to bring something else in. Innovators play offense, not defense. So I'm not going to wait for someone to spot and recognize my brilliance. I don't think I have anything that's necessarily specialer for the next person. I'm going to come show you how me plus you equals better than just you.
But could we talk about how that's like an amazing analogy for the physical therapy profession? Because we keep saying people don't know what we do. I'm going to stop waiting for people to come find me and show them what I'm good at.
Are you in the tell business or or are you in show business? I got to be honest.
Can we be in both?
You got to show me before I'll ever listen to you.
Yeah.
You got to show before you tell.
If you think about show and tell when you were in kindergarten and you brought show and tell thing, and if you just held your like little mud ball up in front of people and you showed them the mud ball, but you didn't give them any context as to why this was the most amazing mud pie on the history of mud pies.
But telling them without the mud ball, it's boring. Why do kids, if I flew to your house, your kids might be too old, but like if you were like, this is my friend Jimmy, like for some reason, like 5 to 9-year-olds are like, do you want to see my room? Well, yeah. Why don't you just tell me about your room from here? Oh, it's a room. Let me take a guess. It's got a bed and a desk and some stuff on the wall. They want to show you. Why? Because you learn faster that way. Tell me a story is one thing, but like really show me the story. Like, you could just read the book, or when you do the voices, there's a difference between telling and showing. I'm sorry. There just is.
Yeah. The voices are always better.
Tell me a story is boring, but when you can put depth to it, if it was just about the words on the paper, that's a miss. It's about when Tolkien describes what Middle Earth looks like that guy was nuts. Like, he had backstories of characters you barely ran into. But that's why he created an entire world of stuff.
Yeah, I never made it through any of that.
That's okay. What was your deep thing? What's like Stranger Things?
I just finished The West Wing.
That's a story.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Parting shot. What do you got?
I think you have to go first today.
Parting shot is I'm going to go on offense. I think innovators play offense. I'm not going to wait around. In 2026, you'll like this too. I bought a calendar. I talked about this on my last episode.
Yeah.
I bought this. It's called the Big Ass Calendar. It's quite literally just a big dry erase calendar. But I'm very visual. And if I write it down, now I've got to work backwards from now to then to get it done. So I'm going to do another triathlon this year. I have been sitting on the bench for a couple years. Fuck that. I'm a triathlete. It's part of my identity. So this sort of calendar is a $44 purchase. It's not, but if I use it, it's a tool to get something worth way more than a $44 calendar. So innovators play offense is my parting shot.
Okay, I think mine is that I am going to just go for it. Like,
what is
2026, we're going for it.
What's it? How do we know when we've got there?
I just think whatever it is. Like, because I saw a thing that was like, if you can't get out of it, get into it. I'm going to get into it. Whatever it is, I'm going to get into it.
All right. If people want to reach you?
The EDDPT on all socials or eddpt.com.
All right, kids. We'll have a better name for the live stream. Recurring. I feel like books and stuff. We didn't talk about a book. So I feel like
talking about stuff.
Maybe stuff is it's more ambiguous, but it's more interesting.
Stuff and things.
All right. We'll workshop it. Rebekah Griffith, the EDDPT. We'll talk again next.
That's it for this one, but we're just getting warmed up. Smash follow, send it to a friend, or crank up the next episode. Want to go deeper? Hit us at ptpintcast.com. Or find us on YouTube and socials at PT Pintcast. And legally, none of this was advice. It's for entertainment purposes only. See, Keith, we read the script. Happy now?